Okay, Mary, welcome to the Integrity Ireland video database.
Thank you.
And thank you for coming today. Would you please introduce yourself?
My name is Mary Maxwell. I live out in Connemara. I lived in the US for about 24 years. I grew up in Dublin, and here I am today.
Yeah, excellent. Thanks, Mary. Now, just briefly, why are you here today?
I believe my mother died the victim of elder abuse, and I have gone everywhere from HSE elder abuse to the guards, to the commissioner, to the Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal, and I am getting absolutely nowhere, and the proof is absolutely overwhelming.
Okay, Mary, it's a familiar story, I'm afraid to say. Now, you told us earlier that you returned to Ireland in 2008, and you immediately became concerned about the circumstances that your elderly mother was living in. Your father recently passed away, is that correct?
That's right, yes.
And you were particularly concerned about the manner in which one of your siblings was managing your mother's affairs. Can we put it that way?
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
So over a period of time, you raised your concerns with the sibling. You got into a state of conflict with him, would it be fair to say?
That would be fair to say.
And so much so that you then eventually made a report to the Gardaí, and I believe you sent some letters, didn't you, to the Gardaí?
I sent registered letters to Wexford Gardaí, to Rosslare Gardaí and Bray Gardaí.
And did you get any response, Mary?
No, I did get a response from Bray Gardaí, but their response was hire a solicitor.
And what about the other two Garda
Nothing.
stations? Nothing, okay. I gather you also went to the HSE and
reported elder abuse to the HSE as well.
Okay, and what was their response?
They started an investigation, but because my other siblings were unable to corroborate or at least give their own stories that they had experienced, they ended up dropping the investigation.
Okay.
I appealed that.
Oh, you did? And
yes.
Did the appeal get anywhere?
No, it didn't.
Okay, Mary. And if I could interject here, I gather that one of the main issues of concern was the fact that, in your opinion, this other sibling was isolating your mother from everybody else.
Correct.
And you believe that his intention was to place himself in a position where he would be the sole beneficiary of whatever estate that your mother might leave behind. Is that correct?
Or he was seeking financial gain. I mean, he was trying to also bleed it before my mum died,
okay.
To be honest with you.
Yes, you told us earlier that on many occasions he would take money from them.
Yes.
And such like. Okay, so clearly you weren't happy with the circumstances. You were concerned about your mother's situation. 2010, I believe, your mother was hospitalised with a broken shoulder, I believe.
Yes.
What were the circumstances that this happened?
Well, we don't know the full circumstances. According to my brother, who had given himself the title of her sole caregiver and her had power of attorney over her, that's how he identified himself to several different kind of workers, but he did not have that authority. We don't know what happened. He was in her care as far as we know. Through the hospital notes and through community services notes, we can discover that there seems to be, she has a history of falls that no other children are aware of. And through the hospital and community service notes, we note that the rest of the siblings live out of the country. At the time, there were actually about 7 of us living in Ireland at the time.
Okay, Mary, so would it be fair to summarise by saying that it came as some surprise to you and your other siblings to discover that your mother had a history of injuries, falls, etc., that turned up when she went to hospital?
Yes, although there is obviously a history of abuse that we're aware of with this younger son,
okay,
with
right.
her.
Yes. Now, the HSE were supposedly supervising your mother at that time because of your earlier concerns.
That's correct. They were monitoring her.
They were monitoring her. Were they aware that she was in hospital?
No, they were not aware of the broken shoulder. In fact, they found that out quite by accident, just on a visit that my mum happened to be there. A day after, I think, the accident happened, or that she broke the shoulder, but they were completely unaware of the hospitalisation, the 1st to the 8th of September and the one on the 26th.
Okay, now that we haven't come to that yet. Now, in the meantime, I believe another brother came to visit from abroad, and he wasn't allowed to reach your mother. and received a solicitor's letter cautioning him about trying to meet your mother.
That's correct.
So to summarise, I suppose we could say that you feel that there was plenty of reasons to be concerned about the circumstances your mother was living in, that she was being isolated from the rest of the family, and that she was possibly being abused. You certainly saw verbal abuse and certainly unkindness being displayed to her in certain various ways, but there's a suggestion here that there might have been more going on. Okay, what happened to the HSE investigation?
They dropped it in, I think it was February, and I appealed it, and I went through FOI and got a little more information, but I got nowhere. So I appealed it then to the Ombudsman's office, but the Ombudsman's office has a checklist. Did the HSE do this, this and this? If they did, tick it off. I had begged and pleaded with HSE Elder Abuse to hold a family meeting in early 2010. With my mom, maybe with one of my older brother and myself, so that my mom would get confidence in order to spill what was going on, because I knew that she would. And that's what my younger brother was afraid of. The HSE actually said that the problem wasn't holding the meeting, the problem was getting our mother there, that this brother would prevent her.
Oh, I see. All right. So all in all, clearly you had a series of concerns about the situation your mother was in. Now, we're going to move forwards here. Your mother was admitted to hospital again shortly after her release from the incident with the broken shoulder. And again, in your terms, by your accounts, the circumstances were very suspicious. You say that the other sibling, the one that you're concerned about, was acting oddly, let's say suspiciously, in and around the time that she was hospitalised. And some 8 weeks later she passed away, is that correct?
After the second hospital visit, yes. Correct.
You said you then you made a report to the Gardaí. What was the reaction of the Gardaí?
Myself and the HSE senior caseworker, elder abuse caseworker, went to the guards in Wexford, and to be honest with you, I was basically laughed out of there.
Okay. Did they take a statement from you?
They refused.
Okay. And I gather you had some problems with your solicitor, Mary.
Yes, my mum's solicitor and the executors in the estate are Beecham solicitors, Joseph Bowe and John Cunningham. And
you allege that there's some fraudulent letters written?
There's fraudulent letters. There's also issues with huge amounts of money disappearing from my mum's accounts. There's also a fraudulent headstone.
And have you reported this to the Law Society Complaints Department?
Yes, I have.
Have you had a satisfactory response?
No, it's an absolute joke. And I've also gone to the Solicitors Disciplinary Tribunal on similar matters, and I've also had no success there at all.
Well, I'm afraid to say, Mary, it's a similar story that we're hearing time after time after time. I thank you again, Mary, for coming in today, and let's hope that documenting your story on the Integrity Ireland video database will go some way to help you and others in similar situations.
Thanks.